Hey, my friends. All right. Today we've got a fantastic video for you, a Revit tip on parts. Parts are unbelievably powerful in Revit. And yet, when they added the ability to break walls and, I don't know, floors, ceilings, soffits, roofs, when they added the ability to break those into parts, a few versions of Revit ago, I don't think they explained it very well. And so I'm making this video so that you guys can understand how best to use parts. And in my humble opinion, the best place to use it would be in a renovation project. Let's suppose you've got a building and you've got a brick wall and you want to take the brick off and leave the rest of the wall intact. And then you want to replace that brick with something else, something like that. Maybe you want to take off the gypboard and then add on some other kind of furring strip and some other kind of tile or backer board. I don't know. But renovation projects lends itself really well to using parts. And that's where we're going today. I'm going to show you how parts works. Okay. Okay. The reason this came up actually is a guy asked me, told me, he said, hey, this is not documented on the internet very well. And yet I would like to know how to do the following. And I'm going to show you his example. I'm going to share my screen. And then I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to show you, this is an image he sent me, okay? He's got an existing wall that is hollow clay brick. If you can see what I'm talking about right there, a hollow clay brick, and then he's got stone cladding on it. Now, in his example, he's demolishing the stone off of there and replacing the stone on the original clay brick wall. He's replacing it with insulation and some metal cladding, okay? But not only that, he's cutting a window through this. And that is not intuitive in using parts. So here we go. I am going to come back to Revit and I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. So here we go. Virtual BIM management. You guys have any BIM management needs, contact me and we'll go from there. Okay. So for today, I'm going to go to the plan. This plan here is just this is all new construction. It's a building that's in my template, but to show the best example, I'm just going to click on this exterior wall of my building, and I'm going to hit CS on the keyboard, which is create similar, okay? And I'm going to put a piece of wall right up here, just outside my building, just sitting there, okay? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to click that wall, and I'm going to switch its phase to not just new construction, but to existing. And in my template, I have it set up that anything existing switches over to be gray. So we're going to be working on this gray wall here. But I have a view set up for existing, and I have a view set up for demo, and I have a view set up for new work. So let's go to existing. This wall that I just drew right here, doesn't matter how long it is or short it is, this wall is existing now. And in my demo view, it's just showing gray and nothing's been demolished yet. Like, remember, the brick is coming off. And then in my plan view, the wall is shown just as existing, gray. Okay, so let's go back to existing. Now, what we want now, we've got let me just explain what this wall is made up of. We have brick cladding, which goes on the exterior. There's an airspace here, and there's some sheathing right there on the wood studs, and then there's gypboard on the inside. So what I'm going to remove, I'm going to show you guys, we're going to make parts out of this wall, and then we're going to remove the brick, and we're going to replace it with a different material, okay? So here we go. Let me show you what I'm talking about. If I click on this wall and I reach up on the top up here under create, it's under file, I guess what I'm looking for is under modify. Yeah, it's on the modify tab. I highlight the wall, and then I want to pick this little tool right here, okay? It's on the modify tab, which comes up automatically. But this little tool that looks like layers of a wall is create parts button. And when I click it, you might not be able to see any change at all in this existing view, because, work with me, when you click on a wall, and you have to click each wall individually to turn on parts, I guess you could grab a whole bunch of walls and just click once and it'll turn them on. What happens is parts are turned on, but only if they're turned on in your template. So let's hit VG on the keyboard, and you'll notice everything's grayed out because a view template is controlling my view. So I'm just going to come over here to my existing, this is my view template, existing, and I'm going to go to model objects, and I'm going to scroll down to parts, okay? Now take a look. Parts is turned off on this particular view, and it will by default be off in your template. So go look there, you'll see that's unchecked. You'll want to turn that on in views where you want to see it and off in views where you don't want to see it. Well, I'm not turning it on in my existing view. Okay. I want the existing model objects, parts. I want parts off, okay? In my existing view. I want them turned off. And then I want to go to my demo view, but I can see the parts. Now, let me just tell you, the original wall is on, and so are all the parts are on. They're both on in this view. I either need to turn the parts off or turn the original wall off. In my demo view, I want the wall off so that I can use the parts and pick individual parts to turn on and off, okay? So what I'm going to do, see how when I hover over these parts, I can pick them individually? Well, also, if I put my cursor over here and I hit tab, I can highlight and pick the original wall. And I can right click and say hide in view element, because I want the original wall off, but I want the parts on. You with me? Okay. So let me just show you guys. In my demo plan, I'm going to pick the brick, and I want this to be demolished when I get to the new construction phase. Now take a look in the properties box. I'm just going to move my face again here. Here is I've selected the brick. Now over here at the bottom of the properties, you'll see a couple extra things. When we're working with parts, it kind of asks you if you need to change anything. The phase that this was created is existing, and it was slated for not to be demolished. So the phase that's demolished is none, okay? But I want to change that. This asks me a question. Basically, there's two checkboxes. Would you like to leave it in the original phase that it's created in? Yes, I'm going to leave that checked. But would I like to leave it in the original phase that it's demolished in? And I don't. And so I uncheck that box. And now what was grayed out before is now available, the phase that it's demolished in. And if I change this to be demolished in new construction, look what happens on my screen. That brick is showing demolished in my demo plan, okay? The existing plan, it still shows there. In the demo plan, it's showing dashed, and wait for it, in my new work plan, it is gone. But you're going to look and go, hey, it isn't gone. That's because in this view, the parts are on and the original is on. I need to turn off the original. I need to turn that off right now. See that wall? I'm going to right click on it and say, hide and view this element. Okay. So that's a quirk when using parts. When you initiate parts, the original wall is going to be on in your view and the parts are on. Okay. If you just want to see the parts, you need to turn the original wall off. And if you only want to see the original, you need to go to VG and turn the parts off. Okay. So I'm just telling you, that's one of the silly things. So the brick is gone here. The next item that is showing up is airspace. In fact, if I highlight it, you can look over in the properties and it tells you what it is right here. Material under identity data, the material is miscellaneous air layer, airspace. Well, that is ridiculous. You don't need to have that visible. In my humble opinion, you don't need it visible at all. In Revit, when you highlight a part, a couple things highlight across the top available for you to do. You can divide the part, which we're going to get to in a minute. But an important thing right now is exclude the part. That air needs to be excluded. And if I check this box right here, the air is invisible. It's gone. Now, if I hover over it, I can highlight it if I want to and restore it, to get it to come back. But I want to highlight it and exclude it. I want it off. So here we go. Existing, the wall, look, it's excluded. The air is excluded. In the demo plan, the brick is shown dashed because it's going to be demolished in the new phase, and the air is excluded. And in the new plan, the air is excluded and the brick is gone. So this would be the place in the new work plan to bring back and add new materials. Okay, we're to the point. We've demoed this, and now it's time to put new materials back. Now I could put back any material I wanted. If I want to put back masonry, like solid masonry, look at this. I'm going to go to file, no, architecture, wall, and on the drop down, I'm going to go to masonry. I just happen to have an 8-inch piece of masonry, and I am just going to put a piece of masonry on here. Take a look. See that? But I don't want the masonry out there in the middle of nowhere. I could put a dimension on here, okay, and tell the masonry, you know what? There's going to be a 2-inch airspace in between, and then go from there. See, you put back a new wall or a new piece of this, okay? But that's not what the guy who asked me, I'm going to hit delete. He said he was putting back on his wall insulation with metal cladding. So I'm going to do that. Just so happens I went ahead and made a piece of wall. So if I hit wall tool, I made a wall type called, wait for it, there it is, insulation with metal panel. Okay, so I'm going to click on it. And so I am going to place this on here right up against the sheathing. So I'm going to place it by finish face interior, and I'm going to click right there, and I'm going to place it right there. Okay. Now I got an error message just a second ago right down here that walls overlap. Well, what it is this new wall is overlapping the overall wall that was here before. It doesn't care that it's been broken into parts. It still can remember the thickness of the overall wall. So there is overlap, duh. So I dismiss that error as no big deal. So what we've got here is insulation, and we've got metal cladding, and we've got our parts that are existing. That looks great and all. In fact, let's go to 3D and look at this thing. Well, it just so happens that this wall that I had in here originally was going way too high. I'm going to bring it back down to the second floor. So it's apples to apples. Okay, there's our wall. Now take a look. This view, like any view, has the wall on and the parts on. I want to turn the wall off. So it's this every view. It's going to be like that. Your plan view, your first floor, second floor, third floor, wherever this wall is visible, you're going to, even elevation views, you're going to have the original. Once you turn something into parts, you're going to have the original and the parts on. Okay, you follow me? It's a quirk. It's weird. I wish Revit, did I say this already? I wish Revit, when you turn on parts, would automatically turn off the original. I don't think that's a setting in Revit. You have to put your cursor here and hit tab, pick it, okay? Pick the wall, and then hit EH on the keyboard for element hide, or you right click and go to hide this element, okay? Hide in view, this element. So here we go. What have we got? We've got metal cladding on insulation, and the yellow part is our brick. I mean, not our brick, our parts. Okay, you guys with me? Let's go back to our plan. There we go. Now, just suppose that you wanted to put a window in here. Let me show you. WN on the keyboard gets you a window, okay? And it'll be the last window that you did place before. So you could switch windows if you want to, but look at this. I am going to just place a window. Now, the window will not attach to parts. It only attaches to these walls. So we've got a wall here, which is insulation and cladding, and I can not put it on the parts. It'll only attach to that, which is perfectly fine. Save project. No, leave me alone. Gosh. It's always asking me to save at inopportune times. I'm busy. Okay, so you might see this looks pretty good so far. We've got the insulation, we've got the cladding, and we've got a window. Yay! In fact, in 3D, it might look pretty nice. Except there's a big problem here. I'm going to spin this wall around so you can see. The problem is there's not a hole cutting through the parts. So when you're in plan, you can see it. The parts are not cut here. If I go to the demo plan, only the brick is cut. There's not a cut through there's no cut through the parts. How do you fix this? That's where the next amazing thing comes in, okay? I'm going to highlight this wood studs here and just show you. Remember the button, when you highlight the parts, exclude parts came up as an option and divide parts comes up as an option, okay? Now divide parts is one of the most powerful things in this whole tool set for parts. I'm not going to click it yet because I want to set a view up for you. Look at this. I am going to go to view and I'm going to go to view and I'm going to click on elevation. I'm going to put an elevation looking at my little wall, okay? And I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. Doesn't have to be across the whole planet. Okay, I've got a view here looking at my little wall. And it doesn't need to be that tall either, okay? Here we go. There's our little wall. Now remember, every view has got, and you can see the building beyond, but this is the wall that we're working on. There's our cladding and there's our window, but there's also, remember, the wall is still there and the parts are there. I need to tab and turn off that brick wall. So let me just put my tab here. I don't want to turn off the insulation. I'm going to hit tab and I want to pick the brick wall. Okay, let me just get my cursor on here where I can pick it. There it is, the wall. I tabbed until I picked it. Element hide. Whoop, tab, 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 tab. I'm tabbing until I hit it. I can't pick the wall. Metal panel, shape panel. Come on, pick it. I wonder if I can just grab. I'm trying to just pick that wall. Here's my filter. I got to, no. I'm trying to, hi. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? I'm trying to simply pick the wall in this view and turn it off, okay? In fact, all right, let me just pick that wall and temporarily, Look at this, temporarily hide that element. So now I can pick the brick wall and hide it. And then I'll bring back the cladding. Okay, that was tougher than I expected. I thought I could just tab through and pick it. Whatever. Excuse me. Had a piece of peanut on my tooth because I had a peanut about an hour ago. Okay, here we go. What we've done, we've got cladding and a window, but this is the perfect view in which to do what I'm about to show you. Okay, so let's go to 3D and just take a look at it. This is my window set in my wall, and this is all the parts back here. We need to cut this, so take a look. If I do this, I'm just going to say, I'm going to go to the plan view for a second. I'm going to pick this stud in the center. Bam. Got that? I'm pick that stud. And now I'm going to hit this fun button. Divide the parts. Divide parts. You ready? Bam. Now it says, it's amazing. You can cut out any shape you want out of this part. You can cut a star shape. You can cut out a crescent moon. You can pick out anything you want. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to, look at this. I'm going to go to the elevation view and I'm going to edit a sketch here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and set my, my work plane. I'm going to pick the plane that I'm working on. And I'm going to pick the face of the wall. So with a rectangle, look at this. I'm going to cut out that shape. So what I'm doing is dividing. I'm going to hit check the box and check. Look at this. I'm checking the box again. So when I come back to the plan view, look what it did. In fact, go to 3D. Look what it did. Okay, inside there, can you see that it cut out? It has cut that rectangle where I want it, but it's hard to see because there's still chipboard in the way. Let's just work with me here. Take a look. There's the wall, okay? And there is the part in the center. I'm trying to pick it. There it is. See that? That piece right there is, if you look down under the properties, that piece is existing and not being demolished. But watch this. Phase demolished. I'm going to uncheck that box so I can switch it from the original and tell that one part, this cut out divided area, I'm going to make it gone in new construction. And take a look. It's gone. That stud is gone. The chipboard's still there, and so is the whatchamacallit, and so is the sheathing. But no worries. Don't you worry your pretty little head about that. Look at this. I'm going to go to the I'm going to go to my demo plan, and look, it's showing that cut out. And if I go to existing, it is the parts are here, and I should probably tell this view, VG. I'm going to tell this view. Work with me here. I'm going to tell this. Look at this. I'm going to go to VG. I just turned off my view template. I'm going to go to VG. And I'm going to uncheck parts, okay? Because I don't want to see the parts in this view. I just want to see the original wall in my existing plan. But my demo, I want to see the parts because I'm breaking them into pieces. And in my new work plan, I want to see the parts because I want certain ones to be off and certain ones to be on. All right, now let me show you another trick. I can click on this here, okay? And I want to edit the division, okay? I want to divide parts. I want to edit the division. What I want to do, see what it's got is just the it's only got the stud. But look up here, you can add or remove parts. So I'm going to add other parts. I'm just going to grab a box here. I just want to add, not a box. I want to add that sheathing, and I click and I'm adding that chipboard. I just hit add. And when I check the box, they're cut through too, but they're not turned off yet. I'm going to click, I'm just going to do a bounding box. Whoops. A bounding box around those two objects. Well, let me just pick it, crying out loud. I'm just going to pick that one object. I'm going to say, you are going to be demolished in new construction. And trying to tab, get in here close so I can get it. There it is. That's the sheathing. You are going to be demolished in new construction. Okay, so let's go back to the demo plan. Look, the sheathing, the gypboard, and the studs are all being demolished in the new work phase. Existing looks normal. Demo is cut out properly. And in the plan view, this is what it looks like. So what if I had a section through there? Let me just bring this wall section over and show you what I'm talking about. Probably a bad place to put my section, right through the middle of my elevation marker, but there we go. Okay, so take a look. Here's my section. This view also is showing the wall and the parts. I got to turn the wall off. So I'm going to put my cursor on here. Ah, there it is. Element hide. Okay, so I just hid the original wall. So what you can see now, friends, is we've got the existing wall cut through. We've got the new insulation with the metal cladding on here and a new window also, okay? And I could pick that window and change one of its properties, which is the setback, 1 inch, maybe set it back 3 inches from the face, okay? So look at that. It slides into the wall a little further to cover up that gaposis that we've got there. Let's do one other thing. This section is, if I scroll to the bottom, the phase filter is set to show previous and new. But if I wanted this to show demo, I could show previous and demo. And you can see what's cut out. The sheathing, the studs, the brick is completely gone, and the gypboard is cut out right there in the center. I'm going to change it back to showing previous and new, and so you can see the window. All right. I'm telling you, parts is fantastic, and it's amazing, and it's powerful in Revit. And so I hope this video, I really hope this video has shown you guys how to use parts. I know it was a little bit of trouble for me to turn off the wall and leave the parts on in that elevation view. It was just silly why I couldn't tab. I don't even know why Revit wouldn't allow me to tab through and just pick the wall, but for some reason it wouldn't. And I think it'll give you more success than me, because usually when you're making a video, Revit plays games with you because it's got gremlins built in. Anyway, I hope this video helps you guys with parts, using parts in Revit. If you guys have any question on using parts, especially for renovation projects and being able to exclude an object or to divide an object or demolish one particular object and leave the others, if you have questions, just put them in the comments below and I will help you guys out. All right. Well, that's about it for today's Revit tip. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. And as always, happy Reviting. Bye-bye.